Former President Donald Trump is furious with Rupert Murdoch. That's, of course, the head of Fox News. After he admitted that he knew that the election was not stolen. So, and that his news network also should have, but did not, denounce Trump's election lie narrative sooner. So we'll get to that, of course. Now, Murdoch, in a deposition that was unsealed on Monday by the lawyers from Dominion Voting Systems, admitted that while he had the opportunity to stop former President Trump's legal team from peddling election fraud lies in his network, he decided not to take it. Lawyers for Dominion were told by Murdoch when they asked the question if, hey, look, could you have kept Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani off your network? Well, I mean, you know, because they're saying absolutely insane things, like the election was stolen by the ghost of Hugo Chavez.
In Venezuela.
Total insanity. Okay. And so they asked him, well, okay, well, if you knew these things were lies, which we had, we covered text messages between different Fox News hosts and producers, and other executives that are like, this is crazy stuff. We know that it's not true. Why are you going and saying these things? Well, Murdoch was like, oh, well, you know, we decided not to because it was better that we got some ratings. You know. So now Murdoch conceded that several of his network stars endorsed the false honor narrative about the election being stolen from Trump due to the alleged corrupt voting machines, Dominion, and also Smartmatic, but that's they have their own lawsuit pending. And so, you know, these, again, right-wingers, Donald Trump, Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, we're just coming up with insane things. Just total fabrications. Oh, yeah, no, it was the Venezuela, these voting machines, they were tampered with. The same ones that got Hugo Chavez elected, and so that's why Joe Biden didn't actually win the election. That's why Donald Trump actually won. He's a real president, you see. No. And of course, a lot of these different Fox hosts are like, no, that's not true. And by the way, when Fox News made their decision, or when their decision desk had called the race for Biden, in some of those messages, text messages, Tucker Carlson was like, they're going to blow our credibility. How dare they come up and actually say the truth? That's going to destroy our credibility. Our stock is going to tumble. So understand, that's what they were worried about. That's what Tucker Carlson was worried about. His credibility from lying to his audience the whole time. And of course, there's a reason they do that. But look, Murdoch, getting back to him, he said in the deposition that he had wished, in hindsight, very important, that he would have been stronger, his network would have been stronger in denouncing the lies. As I said, the reason here that they didn't is, again, because they wanted the viewership. They wanted to continue to make money. And they wanted to be in Trump's good graces, which at the time meant keeping around that Trump base to watch their television shows. And so, yes, they want to make money, like any giant corporation, even giant media corporation, let's be real. And they figured out our audience is suckers. They'll believe anything that we tell them. And by the way, they really are invested in this Trump guy. And so are we. And so what are we going to do? Well, obviously, we're going to lie to our audience. That's it. I mean, we've gotten away with it forever. And look, Fox News has been lying to their audience since their inception. Remember, it was designed, the sole purpose was to boost the Republican Party. And of course, the reason they wanted to boost the Republican Party is so that they would deregulate the industry, all industries, including telecommunications, of course, leading to mergers and acquisitions, etc. That's why we have 6 media corporations now that basically give us 99% of our information. Disastrous. And then also, of course, to lower taxes for rich people. Like Rupert Murdoch. And so, look, that's the reality, right? Now, of course, what makes this different, the election lie different than the usual lies, okay? I mean, first of all, you had January 6th. I mean, that's a significant difference, right? Because people took those lies and specifically went into action to try to invade the Capitol building. Now, look, Fox News, of course, has been involved with, their lies have been involved with acts of violence across, history. I mean, look, everybody can probably remember Bill O'Reilly and Dr. George Tiller, who was an abortion doctor. He kept saying in his program, Dr. Tiller, the baby killer. Dr. Tiller, the baby killer. He's killing babies. He's murdering babies. Somebody's got to do something to save the babies. And so guess what? Somebody did. And George Tiller was murdered. And so look, that's just one example of the toxicity of Fox News and how their lies and how their, what you could call it incitement, I would certainly call that incitement, has been used to, rally conservatives to sometimes do terrible things. But most of the time, the thing that Fox News has been looking for is, I just vote for Republican candidates so they can lower my taxes and deregulate. And then all that side culture war issue, that's the stuff that people tune into. And so that's what they cover mostly. Because if they covered what, the real Republican agenda is, give tax cuts to the rich, that's actually deeply unpopular for anyone who's not rich. So, now, that said, getting back to the point of what makes this different, right, is they also got sued by Dominion, who may have a pretty good case. Maybe. Again, defamation is a very high bar to prove because, again, you have to prove that they knew the truth and were acting with malice. And again, that's got to be proven in a court of law. I can look at that and be like, oh, yeah, of course they knew. And yes, it seems malicious in a way that it's like, we're just basically trying to blame, Dominion for the loss of Trump in order to keep the audience, because that's the chuds want. The chuds want to hear it. And we'll get to that in a minute, okay? But that said, let's go to Trump's response. I know it took me a while to get here, but we're here now, okay? Here's what he said on his platform, and you know it's coming.
Truth essential.
Why is Rupert Murdoch throwing his anchors under the table? Isn't that supposed to be under the bus? I mean, under the table, no, that's not, okay, look, that bugged me, and I'm not sure why, but it's under the bus. Get your colloquialisms right. Jesus. Okay, but anyway, he said, why is Rupert Murdoch throwing his anchors under the table, which also happens to be killing his case and infuriating his viewers, who will again be leaving in droves. They already are. Now, look, right there, that, to me, shows you how much he understands the reality at play. I rag on Donald Trump for being a moron. But really, this entire election fraud nonsense narrative, it's due to partly to his ego, but also the fact that he's been using this to con his followers and to stuff their money into his pockets. This has been one giant con. So now, that said, Fox viewers, it also shows you Fox viewers really do like being lied to. Tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies about how Donald Trump did not lose, how he's still the real president. Look, these people know it's not true. MAGA guy, you know it's not true. You know he didn't win the election. You know he lost. But see, it brings them comfort to hear it. These are comfortable little lies. It's not that they don't, okay. This is important to remember because nearly 2/3 of Republicans that were polled, and there's numerous polls, it goes from even from 60 to 70%. So I would say around 2/3 don't believe that Biden is a legitimate president, that he stole the election. It's not that they don't just like Biden. Look, if you don't like Biden, I don't care. I don't really care. There's some aspects about him that I'm not in favor of. Okay. And by the way, that's some of his record. And I don't think he's lefty enough on policy. But again, he never really casts himself as a leftist. So anyway, that said, we're not gonna get further into that. But look, they literally believe that Biden stole the election with the help of Dominion, Smartmatic, and the ghost of Hugo Chavez, or whatever. I mean, it could be anything, right?
It's the devil, okay?
It could be the devil. It could be
Jewish space lasers.
We don't know. It could be anything for them. Any new conspiracy they come up with next week. They just want to hear that no, you were right all along, guys. You're right. Biden didn't win. The country's with you. The country's actually conservative. When it's really not. It just isn't. Again, you had Trump, you had Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, right-wing blogs. They all catered to this stuff. A lot of them. And there, of course, there's some that pushed back, right? Or were like, oh, I don't know. There needs to be, they kind of were in the middle, tried to play neutral, even though, again, they knew what the facts were. This media reality helped people to reject reality. Look, this is not a difference of opinion. Okay, this is what we're arguing here is whether or not the sky is green versus blue, right? It's objectively, in reality, blue. Again, depending on the time of day. But anyway, oh, is there clouds in the skies? Is it dawn or dark? No, we're not talking about that. Okay. I know, talking about bogging people down with ridiculousness. But anyway, what I'm saying is, my point is you have people out there arguing against objective reality. And so, look, when you're arguing against objective reality, you want to find media that will reinforce your own worldview and tell you that you're right. You're right. No, you're the ones that are right. Everyone else is the moron. It's the Principal Skinner meme. No, what if everyone else said is wrong? So, look, they get their cognitive dissonance, right? Because of all the experts, the media, election officials, that are all saying, like, look, no, actually, the reality is your guy lost, and that sucks for you, but that he legitimately lost. And they're like, no, I can't handle this. So they turn to the conspiracy theories in order to get the confirmation bias. They don't like the truth. They just don't like the truth. Simple as that. Speaking of not liking the truth and turning to conspiracy theories, Trump posted this along with his missive, quote, "There's massive evidence of voter fraud and irregularities in the 2020 presidential election." His evidence is 2,000 mules. That's former convicted felon, Dinesh D'Souza, who made that film, which again is not evidence. It's just feelings. So many feelings. And let me tell you, right, what I understand about right-wingers right now. They do feel like they live in a different world. They feel like the country's been stolen from them. They feel like they've been replaced or they're being replaced. They feel like the world no longer makes sense. And it's because of, again, you have these social changes, but you also have nonstop conservative fear-mongering media that will reinforce this point to them. And, of course, there are some that cannot be openly racist, misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic, like the good old days, because someone will call them out on Twitter or ban them from social media. Facebook used to be Twitter until Elon Musk took over. And so, look, they're confused, angry, afraid. And again, a lot of it's thanks to right-wing media and the fact that they just cannot accept that there is change that does happen in this country on a social level and political level. And so, what they did is that they went along with people like Trump, who, again, take advantage. He's a natural con man. And he himself also unlike the changing world. And so they all turned to him and Fox News to reinforce their same point of view. And now, unfortunately for them, there's a good chance that it's falling apart. It's all going to fall apart. Now, Trump knows, by the way, again, that this is his scam. And that is to raise money off the dupes who believe his lies. Now he's mad that, like, oh, no. That could be hurt if Dominion ends up winning this defamation lawsuit. And one of the terms and conditions that Dominion is searching for is for Fox News and their personalities to come out and say, we were wrong, we lied about Dominion, and we apologize. And that's going to be played to their viewers. So, and by the way, again, part of that apology is Fox admitting we lied to you as well. We knew the truth. We knew that Biden actually had won the election, and we still allowed for these people to come onto our program, onto our platform, without any pushback, or very little pushback, and spread these conspiracy theories and lie to you, the viewer. They're going to have to admit that. Again, if everything goes the way that Dominion wants it to go, and look, there's no guarantee of that, to be fair. So, look, it is interesting to see if that happens. And if it does, Trump's reaction to it, which will be unhinged, to say the least. Should be fun.
Can't let that happen.